Just setting up my microphone. Welcome in, Buffaloes Nation, Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy fans, into, well, the final episode of Season 3 of the Buffaloes podcast. Welcome into episode 29 of Season 3. I'm your host, Graham Forsyth. We are powered by Goaltenders, Movement, Fitness, and Performance, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Elite Prospects, and Terraco, along with Pilot Mountain's lovely sponsors and partners, which G Show Productions. It's been honored to be a part of their partners list this year. But yeah, great show in store for you all today. We got only one guest from Pilot Mountain specifically joining the show, and that's Gordy Tummelson. You're going to hear from a player that had a chance to go out and have an evaluation process a few weeks ago now, and goaltender Tristan Lee from Alabama in the States. He's had a strong last few seasons, too, playing for the Nashville Junior Predators. I also had a chance to talk to someone that Gordy Tummelson coached way back in the day, decades ago now, in Austin Lots. And had a chance to ask one of the founders of Modern Goaltending about what his journey's been like playing in a bunch of places in pro. He started off his playing career in Manitoba, as he's originally from St. Adolphe. But yeah, it's cool to see where everything's gone for that individual, as we are going to get his story coming up in this episode. But in this Season 3 finale, I'm going to bring you through the final bit of news from around the Academy for this season, and I'll also take a look back at all four teams this year and talking about the season that was for them, as well as what the expectation may be for next year. That's all coming up next throughout this next hour and a bit on the Buffaloes podcast on May 3rd in 2026 on this Sunday morning. Gordy Tummelson joins the show first. One final time for the 2025-2026 season. Gordy Tummelson joining this edition of the Buffaloes podcast. Gordy, lots of signings to talk about, but first we'll talk about a champion, Yuki Kito. News on him.
Wow, unbelievable. And here's a guy. He's the shyest, he's still a shy guy. Yeah, the little guy from Japan. He's not so little anymore. He's a little bit bigger now. Obviously, he came here to us 3 years ago. I'm proud to say I was his starting goalie coach here at Pilot Mountain. Colin Fafra being his head coach for the first 4 months of the term, September to December. Then I left Pilot Mountain in terms of physical goalie coaching. Colin took over, and Colin's been his goalie coach ever since. I fill in when Yuki's having a bad time. He calls me or texts me, and we have some conversations. So I'm kind of like the Dr. Phil guy once in a while in the psychology department. But a champion nonetheless. Division two, number one division, Group Two, Division A. The champion beat Great Britain 4-3 in the last game. Won 4 games. He played all four of them for Japan, won them all. A young guy that came to us 3 years ago, nervous, tiny, playing U15, coming in behind Gavin Hildebrand. I know Gavin's helped him out a lot, and so have all the other guys. But at the end of the day, we've got a world champion in our midst, and we're so proud of this little guy. It's amazing. I've been texting him back and forth today a little bit. So first thing out of his mouth is, "What do I do with this summer? What am I supposed to?" Here's what I think: talk to your guys and see what happens. Go back home and rest a little bit. You're a champ.
Well, congratulations to Yuki. I mean, I've had a chance to interview him this year, and he's a great kid. And I mean, you don't hear much about Japan winning in this sport, at
No.
any sort of level and internationally. And well, to see that Yuki's able to backstop them to 4 wins is quite incredible, Gordy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for the kid. No pun intended. But yeah, in terms of signings from around the academy, we've also seen some commitments on the female side. Dive into that, Gordy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to read some of this because there's a lot of it. Just recently, Chadwick Schultz from our U17 team is signed with the Dryden Ice Dogs of the Junior Hockey League in Northern Ontario. And Hector Kapanov, he played for the Netherlands in the same World Championships U18 in the B division. So he had an exciting time there. Going over to some of the other things that have gone on here just recently. Um, Pilot Mound, Georgia Atkinson signed with University of Jamestown, Atcha Division One, and our Knox Burton has been selected as a nominee for the CSHL's U18 Prep Top Forward, coming off a team that's in 16th place and being nominated for top forward. That's got to be something. People got to realize that this guy came to us because he wanted to get better and get out of Winnipeg. He's a Winnipeg guy, wanted to get out of Winnipeg, left the rink. He was a star on the rink team, left RHA, came to Pilot Mounds, a star at our place, leader, and wanted to get away because he knew he was going somewhere else next year. And he wanted to get used to the lifestyle of being on his own. And he made absolutely the best he could have. Getting 16th place team to be nominated, one of the top scorers, et cetera, et cetera. Congratulations to Knox. Addison Scoville and Ashlyn Cuffler both starred in their Atcha Division One programs, and both were named to the rookie All-Star teams this past year. So, that's that one. We know that that's amazing, by the way. That's a third. That's three girls in the last 2 years. We had Alex Mills, goalie from Denver, who played 1 year at Pilot Mount. I'm proud to say I was her goalie coach, and along with Colin Fafra, and she got to be the same kind of Rookie of the Year star in Atcha Division One as well. So we're starting. We're really turning out top-notch players, the kids that really want to play in POE. Our U15s, Nash, Zach, and Benson and Ryder competed in the U15 Program of Excellence just recently. So we've got 4 kids, and we know that a couple of them are up for grabs to go in the WHL draft coming up. So we're looking forward to that. Yeah, so, and then we had a couple of kids win at badminton in the provincial. So we're enjoying multiple championships. It's wonderful to see. It's great, the attitude, the culture that Pilot Mountain has for developing winners. And if you're not a champion on this list, it doesn't mean you're not a winner. It's because the kids come away from it, they're just better people, and that's and that's the story. So that's a quick update on some of the things that are going on around the academy.
Yeah, and a lot of great news, a lot to unpack because there's so much of it, right, Gordy? And I mean, talk about the U15 program, the U15 prep program that has been added on as time went along in Pilot Mountain. You see the talent that they're turning out, and then you look at the other teams from around the academy that are seeing these signings both at the male and female side, and just seeing where this academy began to where they're at now, and continuing to turn out higher end talent, and seeing players go to these significant places, not just Division 2 or Division 3, Division 1, or high level junior hockey. How much does that say about how things are just truly working here at Pilot Mound, how they continue to stand out, although while being a smaller market?
Yeah, the plans come together. I mean, it's not an easy thing when you're developing a program from scratch 11 years ago, which was the case in Pilot Mound. The owners, the Collins family, Rod, Doug, and Tammy, and the wives, all went together and got this thing done, and it's been a battle every day, but a fun battle for them. It's these are tough farm people that know how to get it done. They battle through thick and thin, the weather, the problems, the issues that come up, and so they've got to this point, and the beneficiaries almost in total are the players. They come out of there as better people, better fitness. They understand sort of the mental aspect of life and sports and all those things. Nutrition wise, they get lessons every day. They're learning to be mature people, adult type people at an earlier age. They're responsible people. You know, we just don't take kids that want to come to our place. We make sure that we get good kids who want to be leaders when they grow up, want to be, got people that are want to be in front of the pack, not behind at the back. And they learn to win, they learn to lose. I mean, we've got more losing going on than winning in terms of the games, but the rest of the time it's all win, win, win. And boy, I'll tell you what, I know your two your two guests that we've got on that are with me this week are great guys, and they're going to talk a little bit about hockey from Alabama. But in the meantime, the program has been wonderful, and I got to give a lot of credit to the Rick McConnells, Carson McConnells, and Collins, for sticking around, hanging in there, taking on responsibilities. There's 100 people to thank and to recognize. But great job by everybody in getting this done. It's been and the kids just don't know what they're going to get till they get here, and then they get it, and it's amazing.
We're happy to be able to try to provide some context into exactly that, Gordy, the excitement and just the commitment and everything that goes down at Pilot Mountain to bringing them to a point where, look, coming out of COVID, that era, things were shaky in terms of the results, but now we're talking about, teams winning in big moments and getting to Final Fours consistently, getting to finals. And although they didn't all come away with hardware. It says a lot of where this academy has gone to. And of course, the U18, the male preps heading up into the first tier divisional playoffs for the first time ever this year. There's just so much more to be said, but I feel like not enough time to say it right now on this podcast. We could go on all day, Gordy. But in terms of people that are going to be returning to the fold and moving up on the coaching side of things, Brad Platt going to be joining Rick McConnell's staff.
Yeah, Brad's going to coach with Rick this year. I think it's a great move. Brad kind of was 2 years ago when he took on the U15 thing with Colin. Was a little sketchy about coaching boys again, but he's gotten it back into it. Danny Carls is no longer with us on that in that area, and so it was a natural move for Brad to move up, and that's going to allow Mac, the new head coach. On that U15 team to be able to pick and choose some his own assistants, etc. Yeah, there's lots of shuffling still going on, and we'll get there. But yeah, Brad's moving up, and that's a good thing.
No doubt. And I talked about it on last week's edition of the show, but I think those two can complement each other well and both bring a ton of experience
Oh,
with each other heading into 2026, 2027 with what should be a good U17 male prep group. As for the evaluation camp, Gordy, that happened this past weekend, combining three different teams into one in terms of U17/U17 prep/U18 prep evaluation camp. How did it all go down?
well, I got a really interesting long text from Nicole yesterday. It was kind of a fun one. Um, uh, and basically it said exactly what there were 60 players involved in the weekend. Some returning kids that are going to come back for next year, and a bunch of new guys and whatnot. And as I write in my weekly article this past week and this week coming, there's a lot of other people that come along with these kids to these evaluations, mom and dad, or at least one parent or grandparents, in some cases, and the kids, of course, and brothers and sisters. And man, do they love the town? I mean, they go, oh, give it a hug. It's a small place, and I think they wonder, what's in this small place. But they get inside the facilities. They get inside to talk to people. It's not about what, the fancy looking building from the outside. It's in the hearts of the people and the facilities inside those four walls. I mean, that ugly tin building, I mean, not that ugly, but I guess it's not the prettiest tin building in the world that from Pilot Mountain. But when you get inside, man, it's a whole other world. It's like Disneyland. My gosh, you got a theater on one side, you got daycare on another side, you got teen dressing room. I mean, it's a wonderful place. Curling going on, all these things happening. And so I think the message is, and it's always been this way, because that's why I'm there and I'm still there. Is that you get there, and once you finally get there, and you get a sense for how true and honest and caring these people are, you can't avoid. It's hard to say no. I mean, people say no, and then they don't want to, they can't come for some reason. There's all sorts of reasons for that, but people make an extra effort to come there because they know the success that people are having. That's what we do. We provide some of that information on the success side, and but the success comes from a really safe, secure, fun, caring place that people can grow up and feel good about all day long and become responsible adults in their young lives. And so that's the message. We're going to sign some kids, some new kids, no doubt, over time. I expect those all to come to fruition in the next month. We'll fill some voids over the summer, no doubt, but all that will be put to bed in the next month or so, and we'll have our five teams pretty much put to bed by then.
Well, great to hear that story, that response from parents. And yeah, I feel like, I mean, Pilot Mountain just seems like a great place to grow up in your late teenage years or your early teenage years, depending on when you get there, right? Whether it's for the U15s or U17s, U18s. And yeah, going to be interesting to see what type of talent comes out of that evaluation camp to sign with Pilot Mountain this upcoming season. Are there, you don't have to name specific players or anything, but are there any players that are having eyes kept on them or had, a heavy focus this past weekend? Any group in particular at the forward or defensive side?
Nope. There's a lot of spots still open, particularly on that U17 new team. Rick's pretty much got his team put to bed. There might be a spot or two there that might be still open, but the goalie positions are pretty much full everywhere. We had great goaltending. I mean, the kids that come out, we just get unbelievable kids, and so many of them, and we turn a bunch away. It's really a tough one for on the goalie side. We wish we had as many quality players at every position as we do at goalie. But we don't. But we do have a bunch of really good players. Some that we're coveting some players. We got a Tri-Cities guy that's looking at us, a draft kid coming out of BC, who's a Tri-Cities draft player that is looking for a new home. We're hoping there. But at the end of the day, there's lots of kids coming, lots of kids looking, and we should fill most of our rosters with kids out of the evaluations. There'll be a few spots still open, and we'll find players through the family advisors, through our scouting that are still available, and that we look forward to teeing up and getting ready for. We like to get this done by the middle of June, so that the coaches can have a rest and take a break because it's a bit from the middle of August on. It's hell. It's
Yeah.
hockey hell. So there you go.
No doubt. And as we go into the off season, I'm sure, as I always say, next season will be here before we know it, Gordy. But yeah, we've covered so much in this interview already in terms of signings and what else? Talking about Team Manitoba invitation and world champion Yuki Kito. Anything you'd like to leave our viewers off with for this season of the Buffaloes podcast?
Well, assuming we don't come back before August, the middle end of August, it's been great working with you. Of course, our guests have been wonderful. They've been very cooperative. We've had people from all walks of life, parents, kids, players, coaches, scouts, people from literally around the world, on our show, and it's been great. I love sort of co-hosting this with you or whatever I do, whatever this is. It's wonderful. I hope I'm back next year, et cetera, et cetera. So it's been great, and we look forward to having better teams, and we continue to have great people coming out of Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy.
Well said from Gordy Tummelson. For yeah, one final time here in season 3 of the Buffaloes podcast. Always a pleasure, Gordy.
Thanks.
Great to be joined by Gordy Tumelson for one last time here in the 2025-2026 season, in the season 3 finale of the Buffaloes podcast here in episode 29. And yeah, Gordy talking about a bunch of signings, commitments that have been made in Pilot Mountain from their players. It's awesome to see that it's not just the male side, but the female side that, we've seen players advancing into the university stages of things in their hockey careers. And yeah, wishing all those players the best moving forward in their next chapters of their hockey lives. And yeah, we also talk about evaluation camps, all that good stuff. Can't wait to be joined by Gordy next year when, well, we talk about pretty much the same stuff, except it's going to be like 2026 2027 edition, which is going to be quite exciting. What is quite exciting too is the next two guests that are going to be joining this episode. Up next, it's going to be Austin Lotz, one of the founders of Modern Goaltending. Had a very lengthy career in many different leagues, the SPHL and many others. He's played in the ECHL, had some stints in the AHL, and yeah, it was great to hear his story, his journey, what it's led to, and the life that he lives now, and yeah, talking about his service in modern goaltending, what they can do for any of their goaltending clients that they work with. So that's coming up next on the Buffaloes podcast. As Austin Lotz will be joining us coming up right now. Austin Lotz joining this edition of the Buffaloes podcast. Austin is actually from St. Adolph, Manitoba. He made a career down in the States playing for the likes of the Birmingham Bulls to finish off his playing career, along with a whole lot of other places. Austin, great to have you on the show. I know that at this point in time, you're more into a coaching role and you have your own goalie school. Take our viewers first through the journey, though, that you had through navigating the pro level of hockey.
Yeah, so first off, I'm happy to be on here and thank you. Um, Obviously, our connection is through Gordy Tomlinson, who was my goalie coach when I was really young. So just to start off there, I kind of played in rural Manitoba and ended up getting drafted to the Western League and was lucky enough to play 5 years in the Western League, majority of it with Everett with the Silver Tips, and then a little bit with Medicine Hat before getting injured and having to get some shoulder surgery before my first year pro. Ended up signing a two-way contract with Tucson in their inaugural season, my rookie year when I was 21. Decided not to do the whole college thing or CIS. For better or worse, I mean, I got no regrets. I mean, I think college would have been fun, but I like my life now to where everything was so.
Right.
Long story short, yeah, I played a lot in the ECHL and the SPHL. Had obviously a few stints at some NHL camps and American League camps and things of that nature when I was younger. And the road led me down south. For I think it was my second year pro. I ended up playing in Jacksonville, who at the time was actually the Manitoba Moose ECHL affiliate, which
Oh,
was
wow.
kind of cool because I got to come home after my season in Jacksonville, which was a better year of mine, and spend some time with the Moose, kind of just doing some Black Ace stuff and practicing with them and what have you. Um, but anyways, eventually my path led me here to Birmingham in the SB, and didn't know anything about the SPHL. Like it's not a league that when you're a kid you strive to play for. In fact, I don't even think I knew it existed until I turned pro. So
Right.
it definitely was a bit of a, I don't want to say it was a culture shock, but it was just every level you go down and starting at the NHL, the American League East Coast down to the SP, and then there's even a fifth level in the Federal League. You lose a few things, obviously. There's quite a big difference in skill set, and then obviously just how professional the organizations can be based off of the amount of income that comes from being in the league you're in, right? So
Right.
a few adjustments, but overall I ended up loving it here in Birmingham. My wife and my son has grown up here. We've been here for 6 years now. He's 7 years old. Um, and about 2 years into being here, I saw the opportunity to work with some young goaltenders here that I never would have guessed there was any,
Right.
youth hockey here at all, just because of how I just didn't know. growing up in small town Manitoba and kind of playing at the higher leagues and slowly getting down to this one. I didn't know anything about this market or anything. Turns out Birmingham, Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, Pensacola, Florida. There's teams in Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia. They're all over here. They're just smaller markets. So there's a huge need for hockey coaches in general. Mind you, it's getting better with guys like myself playing pro down here and meeting Southern girls or just loving the area and staying down here. Um, it's getting better, but was just such a need, especially in Birmingham, for goalie coaching.
Right.
There wasn't any. So I obviously took full advantage of that. Myself and my business partner with Modern Goaltending, Hayden Stewart. He was my goalie partner here in Birmingham with the Bulls for 6 seasons. Obviously, a very close friend of mine now, being that we're business partners and we're goalie partners.
Yeah.
Him and I do private lessons. We have an annual camp. We're running into our fourth annual camp in July, where we feel very blessed and grateful that we sold out the camp this year with 24 goalies. And majority of them are coming from Birmingham. Mind you, there's a few from Florida, Mississippi, Georgia, and things of that nature. But yeah, no, it's been a blessing for me. I've got my own full-time job that I do, and then being able to run this business with modern goaltending and modern athletics with my best friend Hayden has been an awesome little side gig that we hope just continues to grow and fill that void down in the southeast specifically for goaltenders. So
Well, what a journey it seems like it's been, right? Starting in Manitoba and ending all the way down in Birmingham and Alabama and, making it a home for yourself. And like you said, you got a family, kids at this point. And I mean, like dating back to that decision you had to make to go to college or, playing the AHL and then going to the ECHL. Feels like, I mean, as the old saying goes, everything kind of works out for a reason, right? Your path, do you feel like that ends up being the case, being in a position where you're able to give back to this game you love?
yeah, it's funny how things work out. Like obviously, like I said, you don't dream of playing in the SPHL. You don't even dream of playing in the ECHL or the AHL. But as you get older, you realize how hard it is to play at those levels. And again, I feel very lucky that I've even got to play in the SB, never mind the ECHL, and have some experience in the American League and NHL camps and the Western League. Those feel very grateful for that. But it's funny how it all works out. Like I just kind of had this feeling inside of me that I wasn't going to go to CIS after my Western League career. It just wasn't for some reason, and whether it's for better or worse, like I said, I'll never know, but it just didn't feel right to me. I ended up after my first year pro actually committing to Acadia University out in Nova Scotia or New Brunswick or wherever it
Wow.
is,
Yeah.
and which is a really good university for hockey, especially. And it's funny, I was about 2 or 3 months into that season. I had to redshirt in order to be able to play at Acadia the year after that.
Wow.
So I was at home in Winnipeg and just working with my dad. And I remember I was kind of having like a bad day, like working with your dad, you have some frustrating moments. And I mean, I love my
Of
dad to death.
course.
Again,
Yeah.
he's one of my best friends too. But I was just having a bad day, and had already turned down a couple of phone calls from other ECHL teams, and just let them know like, no, I know I played pro last year, but I'm gonna go play college now or whatever. And yeah, that one bad day, I got a phone call from Jacksonville, Florida, for the Icemen, and it was their first season, and it was close to the end of November at this point. And for whatever reason, something just told me to go. And by making that was a big decision because I was forfeiting 5 years of scholarship from the Western Hockey League into the CIS. So again, just kind of flying by the seat of my pants, I decided to do it. And it wasn't well, probably 2 months after that, I met my wife. And shortly after that, we had our son as well. And now we've been married for 8 years and have started this life together down here. So it's just crazy how things work out and how one piece of the puzzle can't go before the other. It's pretty wild.
For sure. And I mean, a part of everyone's story is a different path. Some, of course, take similar paths, but it's crazy how the universe can work in mysterious ways. And I mean, now here you are as a goaltending coach for Birmingham. You have your modern goaltending business that, of course, like you said, you started with goaltending partner Hayden Stewart. Talk about how rewarding that's been to take your experiences that you've had, pretty unique, the path you've gone down to, use that in your everyday coaching aspect of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's man, there's so much I could say about it. I think the most value that a kid can get from myself and even Hayden, because we have different paths. Like he played in the USHL where I played in the Western League. I went to right to pro when I was 21. He was an Ivy League guy playing in Cornell. And we both kind of started in the coast and worked our way down to meet each other here. But because of that, I think the most value that we can bring somebody, whether it's a 7-year-old kid, a 16-year-old kid, a parent of a kid, is the experience that we've gained. I think we're in a very small pool of people who are goalies that played or have experience at 4 of the 5 different professional North American Hockey League levels. So you see a lot of stuff, a lot of different personalities, a lot of different coaching styles, a lot of different everything when you go from the NHL to the SPHL. It's you experience so much. And even before that, playing juniors and Hayden doing the college thing and then obviously our minor hockey experience, which most people have. Um, we can instill all of our experience into these kids down here in Birmingham that they don't know anything else other than playing house league in Birmingham for a couple of years, and then they get to play some travel hockey against other cities and organizations that are relatively behind in regard to skill development and things like that compared to say Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, or really anywhere north of I don't know, Kentucky, like it's just so different because it's just further behind because they got a later start down here is all. So yeah, I feel like the biggest thing and the most rewarding piece of it is every time I meet a new goaltender, the his book is like empty. So I get to start on page one with him. And it's funny because at the beginning of from page one to page 30, let's just say, it's such a quick process. Going from teaching a kid how to do a T push to teaching them how to situational stuff like when to have depth in your crease, when not to, things of that nature. It happens so quick. But then page 30 to 60, that's when it's like it takes a long time.
Right.
So down here, you more often than not, when you start with a kid, he's not on, even if he's 13 years old, he's still on the first few pages. So it's just, you get to see, as a coach, you get to teach so much and you get to see so much growth. It's instant. You feel that reward of helping somebody almost instantly.
Right. And yeah, I think that's a great way of putting it, right? As the experience of a sport of a position as tough as this goes along, obviously there's a lot more variables and difficulties and, tough decisions maybe that come along the way. But you mentioned Gordy Tummelson was your goaltending coach way back when, during your minor career. And I know for, goaltenders, at least here in Manitoba, like there's not even like set goaltending coaches for every single team, every single player. How valuable do you feel like that was at the start of your career, nearing as your minor hockey career went along to have that type of goaltending coaching and not only that, but support from a guy like Gordy Thompson?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the pieces falling into place one at a time. Like Gord was one of the first pieces that fell in place for me. Um, he he not only taught me about the position, but he taught my parents about the position. He taught us about how the whole hockey world really works and operates, which helped, I think, in a big way with my parents. Helped me navigate through all the politics that you run into with hockey, and I ran into a lot of it. Like there was many situations when I was really good when I was younger compared to everybody else. And I wanted to, my parents, Gordy, myself, wanted me to play at this level, but the world was telling me, no, you can't, you got to play here. And that's just an example of one situation that Gordy was there to help not only me, but my parents through. Um, but then on the ice, I mean, you talk about having experience. Gordy was a WHA goaltender. Like I know we're talking about, and I know he would laugh at me saying this, it's like 3,000 years ago. So it's all relative, but his knowledge was it's so valuable. He taught me how to skate. You know, I mean, I got to give my mom some credit. She was a figure skating coach, but his coaching style focused so much on skating without me even knowing it when I was, say, 10 years old. Looking back at it, he was having me do crossovers and goalie pads. And then I fast forward into a 22-year-old me, which wasn't that long ago, um, and playing professional hockey, and things happen fast, and I'm getting myself in situations that I have to quickly get out of. I developed that skill when I was 10, or I started because of Gordy. So he was packaging all this, his lifetime of information of the position into my 1 hour practices, not even goalie lessons, just practices where he would drive out to middle of nowhere, Manitoba to meet me out there um, without me even knowing it. You know, I thought I was just having fun playing goalie, and I was, but he was teaching me so much at the same time. And lastly, with Gordy, the big thing that I carried all the way up until my last day of my playing career, which I think was like April 16th or 15th, 2025. So we're talking like 23 years I've been working with Gordy.
Yeah.
I would message him on every game day. And it was just this little abbreviation that he said to me from the time I was 7 until 30. And it was just, it was, he was so involved when I was younger. And as I got older and obviously expanded away, not physically with him anymore, and dealing with other goalie coaches and being more experienced myself, all the way down to just a little abbreviation text message every game day. It helped my mental game so much. He used to sit me down, sometimes with my parents, sometimes not, and we would have a goal sheet. And I would write down long-term goals, short-term goals, how I'm going to get there. He had like this system.
Right.
And man, I can't, it's looking back, even just talking through it as I'm remembering things with you right now. It's crazy because even the stuff that I'm now teaching kids, a lot of it just comes from Gordy, you know? So yeah, I owe Gordy a lot. And I think he knows that. He was a big piece. He was a big role model for me and a big piece to my development as a person and obviously as a goaltender too.
Well, right on. And I mean, yeah, he's a legend for sure. I mean, pro experience. He's been I feel like ever since I've met him, all he talks about is goaltending. He loves the sport. He has a huge passion for it, and it's great to see how he was able to affect your career in a positive way, right from when you were just starting out. But yeah, in terms of like you said, much of the stuff that you try to instill in goaltenders, you've learned from Gordy. But what can clients, I guess, expect? If they come to work with modern goaltending. You talked about how every goaltender, you start on page one a lot of times, but take me through, I guess, the process of how things are done with your program and specifics.
Yeah, so I mean, anything from private lessons to camps to off-ice training to again, similar to what Gordy did for me, the mental side of things and the emotional side of things too. You know, that's a big piece of goaltending is not letting the emotional side cloud the mental side, right? Um, with modern, you can expect a professional experience. We've since day one when we started this thing in 2023, we wanted to create, and it started with our first ever camp, this professional experience for anybody. You know, you can pay six, seven, $800, come to our camp. It's 3 to 5 days long, whichever camp it was, and you can be an 8-year-old kid that has your own professional goalie stall. It has your name tag on it. We take your hockey gear. We do your laundry. And then when you get on, which is obviously all the fluff stuff that kids think is cool, right? But then when you get on the ice, whether you're, again, I keep using 7-year-old, but whether you're a 7-year-old, because that's really the youngest we work with for the most part, to 30, no, the oldest goalie we've had was 65 years old at one of our camps.
Oh,
So wide
okay.
range, 60-year age range almost, which we're proud of. You do the same drills. And it's funny because I'm kind of being, I don't know what the right term is for it, counterintuitive to myself when I say we start on page one, but now I'm telling you that a 65-year-old is the same as the 7-year-old. but
Right.
we obviously break it down a little bit, right? Like if a kid can't do a butterfly slide, we're obviously going to teach him how to work on his feet and then introduce him to that. But we do every drill we have at camp is from mine and Hayden's drill book. And I got to give Hayden credit because out of the two of us, he's the goalie nerd, whereas I'm like the passionate side of things, you know?
Right.
So his drills are all based off of stuff that he's learned over his career from watching NHL every night, which I'm going to be honest, I don't even watch NHL every night because I like other things like NASCAR and football and golf and hunting. You know what I mean?
Fair,
But that's
fair.
all Hayden does. And his drills are complex, and but they all have purpose. Everything that you do with modern, it's going to have a purpose to it, and it's probably again, I'm going to fall back on the experience side of things. It's going to come. We're providing it to you because we believe from our experience it's going to benefit you to reach your goal. And the cool thing that and I'll be honest, the reason why it's this way is because the pool here is so small. But the cool thing that we've kind of become unintentionally is I could go to one of our camps and become better as
Right.
a 30-year-old pro, or a 7-year-old can come to our camp and become better. And we can both not only get better, but also enjoy ourselves and learn at the same time. So that's something that like we're proud of that. You know, it's and I could keep going on, but I think the biggest thing that we try and separate ourselves from maybe other goalie coaches or camps, which we don't really see it that way because we're not competing with anyone down here at this moment, anyways, is that we really want to make sure that everything we do is with a purpose. And no matter what age or skill set you are, you feel like a pro while you're working with us.
And I think that's great. I mean, to be able to give that experience to no matter who it is, a 7-year-old or like you said, a 65-year-old, which that's pretty awesome. The passion's still alive within that 65-year-old netminder. But it's great that you're able to provide something that, seems like it's a huge difference maker right now in that part of the country and the sport that continues to, as I mean, we've witnessed throughout the years, that continues to grow at high levels in the U.S. One of my last questions for you, Tristan Lee, a goaltender that you worked with, had a chance to come down to Pilot Mound, have a type of tryout out there during their evaluation process. How rewarding is that to see that now, some of your clients, Tristan in particular, getting a shot and a look from outside of the country in another part of North America?
And I'm really glad you brought this up. I mean, obviously it's relative because he's now got an experience at Pilot Mound and all that. Um, Kristen's he's special to me, you know. And I think in life we always search for comparables. And I mean, if I was to compare him, or for the sake of this conversation, have a comparable, he's kind of to me what I think I was at one time to Gordy, you know.
Right.
Um, I started working with Tristan when he was 11 years old. He's now, I guess, 15, 16 years old, whatever he's at now. And it's as us as adults know, that period of time from when you're 11 to now he's a teenager, you're mentally and emotionally a very vulnerable person. And to be able to see, and I'm very proud of him for this, to be able to see the hardship that he's experienced and went through on a personal level
Mhm.
and throughout these years that I've known him, and never lose sight of his goals of in with hockey and being a goaltender and trying to be the best he can. He's been the same since he was 11, man. It is crazy. He's just kind of got it, you know. People talk about having it. He's got it. He he's a respectful kid. You know, he'll if he goes up to for example, if he goes up to Pilot Mound or anywhere in Canada, everyone's gonna be like, "Did that kid just say yes, sir, yes, ma'am?" Like, why is he being sarcastic? Like, he's so polite. I know people up there because I grew up there. They might be like, "Is he being like sarcastic?" But he's just such a polite kid. He was raised so well. Um, and then he gets on the ice, man, and he's just got this smile on his face the entire time. Unless he's having a bad skate, then he gets a little mad. But when he gets
Right.
mad, it's always at himself. And I think that's one of the best signs or the most clear signs that someone cares is when, in a controlled manner, they're getting mad at themselves when they don't perform well. And in time, I mean, he's a 16-year-old kid. I was a snap show until I was 30. So hopefully it clicks in a little easier for him out there. But in time, he'll learn to, I'm confident in time, he'll get better and better at controlling that raw emotion that he has to want to be good.
Yeah.
Um, but his work ethic, man, is it's unmatched for what I've seen down here. There's a couple kids that are pretty close to on par with him, but he's right at the top. Um, but again, the most impressive thing to me is the span that I've known him and all that he's been through. He's been able to maintain the exact same work ethic. He's been able to really push aside whatever's going on off the ice and just be on the ice and do what he loves to do. And it's every time I'm out there, we talked about page 1 to 30. Tristan's probably on page 40, which is far because I watch guys in the NHL who I'm like, you're on like 45, man. Um, so he's doing pretty good. He's on like page 40 and we're still having so much fun out there every single week for like 5 or 6 years now. And he's still learning. So it's a challenge for me as a coach to work with a kid after page 30, and really try and dig deep and find areas of his game he can improve on. But more often than not, with a kid like Tristan, he gets on the ice and we spend 10 minutes of him telling me everything he thinks he needs to get better on and makes my job kind of easy. So I guess in summary about Tristan, I think the world of him. I think he's a good kid, and I think that's why I think the world of him.
Yeah, and I mean everything you've said, like you said, you've known him for a number of years now, and a lot of the things you said came through in that interview. Great personality, very polite kid, as you said, and a passion for the game. And I told him I think one of the greatest skills I feel like a goaltender can have. I mean, I haven't played a position, but is to have a short memory, and Tristan seems to have that. And the more he continues to mature and grow in this game, it's going to be really exciting to see what's in store for Tristan Lee. But before I let you go, Austin, just I guess some information to our viewers in terms of what's coming up from the camp perspective, and also what the prices were. You had mentioned something along the lines of the $600 to $800 range, just for anyone out there that may want to take a look at modern goaltending and want to come out and skate with you guys.
Yeah, so our camp this year is actually sold out. The past 2 years, we actually did two camps. We did one in Birmingham, one in Jacksonville, Florida. The price usually range like this year's Alabama camp was $800. It just depends on how many days and what kind of the schedule looks like. We, of course, it's tough because with the economy these days, and then we have people who want to travel. So now you're talking about gas, you're talking about hotels. We do our best to keep it low, but it is a constant challenge for us as a new company to want to make sure we reach our standards and also make it affordable for everyone. And we don't always achieve that. There's people that have said to us that they could be able to come to our camp if it was a little bit less expensive. And it's hard because your heart wants them to be able to come, but at the same time, we've kind of chosen our path as a company of what we want to do and the standards we want to be at. And unfortunately, sometimes it gets a little pricey on our end, but in the future, yeah, our goal is to obviously be all over the Southeast, whether that's with camps, coaches, private lessons, we're working hard right now on our remote offerings, any products we can offer where people can access our product, whether you're in China or you're in Alabama, it really doesn't matter. So that's kind of a work in progress. Our website is modern-athletics.com. You go on there and it's got all the different modern companies. Modern goaltending was our first one, and it's therefore kind of our biggest one because it's just the most developed. But if you go on there, you'll see a bunch of different information, and we're obviously all over. Hayden's already doing like all the Twitter articles. I think he's got the articles on our website. He does Instagram clips. He does YouTube videos. He did a YouTube video a few months ago of just explaining the benefits of a bungee toe bridge compared to a skate lace toe bridge. And
Right.
I thought it was really interesting. So I'm like, man, that's so obvious to me, to me and him, but to mom and dad in Alabama who their goalie's never been a goalie before, like they don't know about that. So we're trying to kind of dip our toes into a bunch of different things. But right now, the biggest thing we have is our camps and our private lessons for sure.
Well, right on. And I mean, a very valuable service that's being, accessible to people who can afford it. And I think that, yeah, you guys obviously got to set a certain price. Hockey's an expensive sport already, so I feel like it's kind of be expected. But looking forward to seeing what this grows into in the future. It's great to get to listen to your experience, Austin, and the joys that have come along the way with, of course, starting a family earlier on, and then, of course, building what is modern goaltending now with your old goaltending partner down in Birmingham. Thanks for taking the time, and we'll talk soon in the future.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
That's Austin Watts joining this edition of the Buffaloes podcast for episode 29 here in season 3. Great to have someone on that has done a lot of great work down in Alabama and in the States in terms of just starting and continuing to grow his service in modern goaltending. And also great to hear about his experience. I mean, so many pro players out there. There's so many different stories about how their journeys, their paths, differ, and it's great to see that Austin was able to make the most out of his experience and play a significant amount of years at the pro level, and led to him, of course, meeting his wife, then girlfriend, early on in his career when he had first moved out there and to pursue the career he did. And yeah, I mean, him choosing the path he did, everything happens for a reason, right? And for Austin, it ended up landing him in a spot where he's on the coaching staff now of the Birmingham Bulls, and running his own goaltending school, and helping the community and the players get access to great goalie training from someone that's been around for quite a while, and of course doing it with his former goaltending partner, as he played with him. And yeah, check them out, modern goaltending. Austin dropped a few bits of information there, just talking about the services they drop, and not that they drop, but that they offer to their clients. And if you're a goaltender looking to get better and you're looking for something a bit different, maybe modern goaltending could be what exactly you would need to perhaps reach that next level. But someone that's had a chance to work with Austin for a number of years now is Tristan Lee. Of course, Austin had a lot of praise for him, and I had some praise for him as well. I had a chance to talk to him, I think 2 weeks ago now at this point. Just thinking off the top of my head, there's been so much that's gone on, but yeah, in talking with Tristan, as I mentioned with Austin, felt like he was a very mature kid, mature beyond his years, really, and it was great to catch up with him and get his thoughts on his experience down at Pilot Mound. Having a chance to go through the evaluation process a few weeks ago. Didn't really get into it, but he was also recovering from wisdom teeth surgery, which, hopefully that went smooth for Tristan. But yeah, it was great to talk to Tristan, get to know him. Coming up on what's going to be our final interview of Season 3 in Episode 29 of the Buffaloes podcast, and the Season 3 finale. Tristan Lee, goaltender of the Nashville Junior Predators, joins the show next. But first, we're going to throw it to a commercial break from Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, The Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. It's Tristan Lee joining this edition of the Buffaloes podcast. He's a 2010 born goaltender from Alabama in the US. He's down in Pilot Mountain for their U17 slash U17 prep slash U18 evaluation camp this weekend. Tristan, it's great to have you on the show. You were telling me you got into Manitoba and Pilot Mountain last week, actually. What's that been like being able to get to feel out a new place for yourself, of course, coming all the way from Alabama?
It was pretty nerve-wracking. It was a far travel that I traveled, and when I got there, it was a pretty cool place. I liked it.
All right, on what's been your favorite part? Or of course, it's a small town, but in terms of the hockey side of things, it's pretty deluxe, I'd say. Have you been
Yeah.
enjoying that aspect of things, getting to see the facilities and all the things like that?
I'd say my favorite part, right?
Yeah, yeah.
My favorite part was the dorms and the rink, 100%. I haven't got a chance to see the school yet, but I bet it will be pretty cool.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, I've had a chance to go down to Pilot Mountain a few times myself to do some work for this podcast and also call some games. And yeah, to see how they've evolved is unreal to see. And here in 2026, they're only adding on to, of course, the academy. But how'd you end up hearing about Pilot Mound in terms of how you learned about this opportunity to come down for an evaluation camp?
My goalie coach told me about it, Austin Watts, and he told me about it. And I was like, I really want to do this. I want to see what's up there. And I went up there, and but yeah, my coach recommended it to me, and I was like, let me try it out.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, that's great, being able to, you know, get that advice and I mean, get notice of that opportunity from a goalie coach. Of course, you've had a chance to work with in Austin Lots and of course your current goaltending coach. But what's the experience been like being able to step on the ice and being able to show your skills in front of the coaches and everyone watching down in Pile Mountain?
Um, I think I it was real. I think I played my best, but I could have played better. And it was amazing seeing all the players together and working hard together.
Yeah, of course, you've had a chance to play at a high level,
Oh
AAA
yeah.
15U down in the States. But what is that level in terms of what you had a chance to play with this weekend compared to what you've been facing these past few years down in the US?
The level was really good. Like it wasn't even comparable. Like the prep team was phenomenal, the skill levels, and they they're really nice, and they just in general work really hard every day. So
Well, right on it. I mean, it's great for you to be able to get a chance to go out and not only showcase your skills in front of, the coaches watching, but also have a chance to get to play and face that type of competition, that high level of talent that you got a chance to experience down in Pilot Mountain, Manitoba. But in terms of where you've come from, up until this point, Tristan, of course, playing with the U13 or the 13U, the 14U, and the 15U Nashville Junior Predators, you've posted some pretty strong numbers along the way as well. What's that experience been like in terms of getting to play in that league throughout these years, developing there down in the States?
it was good competition for a while, but I just need to move up in competition.
How would you describe yourself as a goaltender, I guess, in terms of your biggest strength?
Um, Competitive. I talk to players during games, and a really nice kid in general in the locker room too.
And I mean, that's a huge part of successful teams too, right? Is being able to have a good locker room. And it's great to hear that, your personality is one of your strengths, as well as, you're not afraid to communicate with the boys, which I think, that's a skill that so many goaltenders that are at an elite level utilize. But talk about what you felt like your growth has been in terms of how you felt you've been able to improve playing in the leagues you've been playing in these past few seasons.
The level that I've gone,
Yeah, in
Or-
terms of like, yeah,
Oh,
how you felt your, I guess, game has improved throughout the past 3 seasons, let's say.
I thought mm, I've grown a lot. Like from these upcoming years, I did gotten really good. Like a couple years ago, I was not that good at all. So I think I've put up some levels in my skill, and I think I can compete with the Canadians now. So
Oh, right on. And you know what I love? You're, I mean, a 2010 born player. You're as old as my youngest cousin, which is crazy how the game just continues to get younger and younger, right, at this level. But I think what's great to hear is you're very honest with yourself. How do you feel like that's kind of come to be about? Have you always been able to look at yourself and be able to, take self-criticism, or is that something you've worked up along the way?
yes, always.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
yeah,
Could you elaborate a bit more on that in terms of just you feel like that just comes from your confident personality and your personality being able to shake things off?
yeah. If I let in a goal, I shake it off. I don't blame it on any of my teammates or like if a bad bounce goes in on my teammate, I don't yell at him during the game. I put my head, I lock in and get the job done at the end of the day. So
Oh, right on it. I mean, such an important skill for goaltenders. The best at that, being able to shake things off and focus on making that next stop. Very curious to know, do you have a goaltender that you watch at the NHL level that you kind of take inspiration from, or is there a few goaltenders?
Jeremy Swayman and I forgot his name. I'm terrible with names.
Oh,
What's
no
his name?
worries.
Grandma, what's his name? Oh, I forgot. Plays on Dustin Wolf. Yeah, I talk about him a lot. Dustin Wolf and Jeremy Swayman. I really take over.
Yeah, and I mean, two guys that I mean play with a lot of confidence themselves, right? And I mean,
Yeah.
Dustin Wolf, he's just getting started. Jeremy Swayman's had a great career so far, and I mean, for yourself, right? Having a chance to come out to Pilot Mound and like we've talked about, showcase your skills. If it happens, if it doesn't, that you end up landing a spot on one of the teams. What would you say about that experience in particular in terms of recommending it to players from, the States and other parts of the world to, consider going and giving Pilot Mountain a chance?
I would definitely give them a chance. They're an incredible team. The uh, prep team is insanely good. The skill level is beyond. It's really good, and the dorms are really nice. Everything's nice at the place. The food is really good. Every they offered us food when we were there. This I would really go there. I love that place a lot.
Well, right on. And I think that says a lot coming from, someone that is not even grown up near Pilot Mountain, ways away from Alabama in the US, for yourself, Tristan. Getting a chance, of course, to experience Pilot Mound in the past little while here. And yeah, I'm glad to hear that, you enjoyed yourself and wishing you the best of luck moving forward, whether it's with, Pilot Mound or anywhere else. And maybe down the line, even if it isn't this year, you could take a crack at their roster again. But looking forward to getting to follow your career now and wishing you the best of luck moving forward. Like I said, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Tristan Lee joining this edition of the Buffaloes podcast. It was great to get to know this 2010 born player. I mean, Tristan, he's, like I said, as young as my youngest cousin, and it's crazy to see how, how much younger the game continues to get, and I mean, how much older I continue to get. I'm going to be 25 in about a week, so yeah, I'm almost a quarter of a century old now myself, basically at this point. But yeah, I mean, Tristan, for a kid that is as young as he is, the maturity, it seems just from talking to him, it's well beyond, the years of someone you would expect for that age. And I mean, he's, gone through, I think, so much growth throughout these past few years too, just with his experiences with the Nashville Junior Predators, and it's led him to this point where, well, he had an opportunity to try out for Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy a few weeks ago at this point, and whether he makes it or not, I think that now he's on their radar, and hey, there's always next year too, right? And for this year, the evaluation camps, they officially wrapped up. Just thinking off the top of my head, last weekend, with the U17 prep and U18 prep groupings. And yeah, now we look ahead into the 2026-2027 season. We're going to throw it to a promo break, and then I'm going to talk about each team from the academy, what could be potentially to come for them next year in terms of just looking at this year and what they could potentially be looking to do next season. That's coming up next on this edition of the Buffaloes podcast to end things off here for season 3, episode 29. First, we'll throw it to a promo screen. Welcome back into the Buffaloes podcast. We're going to end things off now with just going through some news and, like I said, talking about each team from around the academy, how they fared this year, and, well, the expectations heading in to next season. But first, got to give a shout out to Brett Bjors, who is going to be starting off his journey with his Team Manitoba squad at the National Aboriginal Hockey Championship in Regina, Saskatchewan. Brett last year played for the U15 Prep Buffaloes, was a 7th round pick, 115th overall in the WHL draft in his draft year. He's a defenseman. He's got good offensive upside, really good 200-foot player, and looking to be an impact player for the Team Manitoba team at this year's National Aboriginal Hockey Championship, which, is going to be taking place throughout the next few days, the next 6 days here, almost a week-long tournament. So, best of luck to Brett as well as the rest of his teammates. As for a commitment, Karsten Campbell, male U18 prep, committed to the Dryden Ice Dogs, a junior A hockey team. He's from Lloydminster, Alberta, the Pilot Mountain forward, looking to make an impact in his home province coming up at the junior level, which congratulations to Karsten on, signing his commitment to pursue his next chapter of his playing career. As for the dorm construction, Pilot Mountain, as they're adding on, it's great to see, how things have transpired, how things have been coming along really nicely, really smoothly, and, Pilot Mountain already has state-of-the-art dorm facilities, adding on now, given that they're going to be adding, one more team into the fold come next year, 26-27 with the U17 team, and then, soon afterwards, in the next few years, they'll be adding on a U15 program. So exciting times in Pilot Mountain, and if you want to check out the progress of their dorm constructions in terms of their add-ons, be sure to check out PM Buffaloes on social media for more information. As for the evaluation camps, these are just some pictures from it. Teams, of course, or players out here had a chance to compete in a lot of competitive drills, some scrimmages, as we can see here from these pictures, and all these players getting looks from Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy now on their radars at the very least. But as for how this season went for the academy, I'm not sure how specific we're going to break things down for all 4 teams to end off this season, but I will say this, another successful year overall for Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy when you're able to see you know, two teams going to the Final Four once again. Sure, one of them falling short in the U17 preps, but for the male U15 preps, making it back to the final and falling short, unfortunately, again, still says a lot about just where the state of this academy is, knowing that, well, they did have a few rough spots, a few years ago, looking back at it in terms of the results. But ever since, we've gone further and further away from coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic, it really does seem like Pilot Mountain's been on the up and up in terms of just bringing in significant talent throughout these past few years to help out their programs like the U15 male preps, the male U17 prep program, the male U18 prep program, taking another step this year too, right? And going into that Division One playoff tier of things. It's just great to see how things have grown in Pilot Mound, how they've been able to retain their coaching staffs as well, as they'll be looking to run it back again next year from the male U18 preps to the male U17 preps. Male U15 prep Buffaloes will be seeing a bit of a change in their coaching staff heading into next year, but they'll be in good hands again. I guess starting off with the male U15 prep Buffaloes for this group, you know, as me and Gordy Tummelson have talked about, in that male U15 prep division, there's so many kids that have potential to go on and have significant WHL careers. A lot of WHL potential draft picks, which we've seen, of course, a lot of Pilot Mound players getting drafted more so throughout these past few years in terms of Carson Carls and Cole Landerville, the two come to mind specifically that have both had a chance to play for the male U15 prep program too, and just to see the work that Colin Fafara has been able to do, bringing in more significant talent this year to help them get to another championship, another final, was fantastic to see. Of course, Colin's going to be leaving the program, but Pilot Mound, they'll be in good hands with, I think, their new coaching staff, which we'll get to talk to them more next season. But yeah, Pilot Mound, if they're able to continue to recruit strongly at the male U15 side of things, at male U15 prep, there's no doubt in my mind that this team again next year should have a good chance to be competitive once more. As for the male U17 prep Buffaloes, they're going to have a benefit from potentially getting some male U15 prep players next year. Of course, this team, from what has been talked about, is pretty much set heading into next year with Brad Platt joining the coaching staff along with Rick McConnell. I have no doubt that this team, once again, just with their track record, should be pretty strong in 26, 27. What you can expect out of Rick McConnell's squads, as we saw this year, is they're hardworking groups. They're groups that I think, as the season goes along, plays the game the right way in terms of the simple plays that they can make, not trying to do anything too fancy. But Rick also, I think, has a great understanding of just letting his players be who they be and play to their strengths, and we saw that unfold again this year with the likes of Maddox Ramage, a rookie on this team, leading the way in terms of the points. And yeah, excited to see what Rick McConnell and his coaching staff is able to do with next year's Buffaloes group, which expecting the Buffaloes at the very least at the male U17 prep division to be a strong competitor once again, at least at the Division Two level. As for the male U18 prep Buffaloes, for Anthony Florentino and his group, taking a team this year, a bunch of kids that really hadn't played together before much, and yeah, ended up guiding them to their first Division One playoff appearance in program history. And not only that, but taking RHA Kelowna to the brink, only losing by, I believe off the top of my head, a goal. But he brought in a lot of significant talent this year. Anthony Florentino and his coaching staff, they've now established that this is a team, a program that is going to continue to get better, and expecting for next year for them to bring in some more great talent. They're going to have the benefit of getting some talent from the U17 prep group that's going to be moving up. Should be a strong team overall again next year with good goaltending. Should be a team that plays fast, that plays physical, and really looking forward to seeing what this male U18 prep Buffaloes group can do come next season. As for the female U18 prep Buffaloes, who of course will be led by head coach in Una Paravainen. coming over from Finland. They're hoping that her influence in the hockey world, the female side of things, especially from the European side of things, can help continue to grow this Pilot Mound Hockey Academy program, the U18 female prep side of things. But I think they're also hoping that her impact can help, bring in a lot of significant talent from around North America. Maybe not locally, but maybe looking to other places like I don't know, maybe they start to get more recognition from other places in Western Canada, right, heading into, the upcoming years with Una at the helm. But they're going to have a chance to bring back a number of returning players next year. This group isn't losing many players. In terms of what they have eligible to return, but it will be interesting to see which players come back, which players don't. One thing that does, of course, need to get better for Pilot Mound is they need to find some more scoring in this program in particular. They got the defensive system down. They've had great goaltending, and teams in Pilot Mound always seem to have really great goaltending overall. But what has been lacking with this female U18 prep squad, and for some reason, as me and Gordy have talked about, they've struggled more so compared to the rest of the programs in Pilot Mountain coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic, in terms of finding that significant talent. The girls' side, different than the male side, I guess, in terms of recruiting in the places that they have a chance to play. But the one thing that has been lacking for this group has been their offensive punch, that offensive firepower. How does Una Paravainen and her influence look to bring in more impactful players at that forward position, if they are able to bring in more impactful players and find more offensive upside, heading into 26, 27. Look, Pilot Mound, they pulled off, some shockers in terms of upset wins as the season went along. They've definitely proven they can be competitive. Can you get the necessary reinforcements, the necessary juice into your team to be able to take that next level? Well, that's, I think, the biggest question heading into next season for this group. And, of course, how they're going to, look and how they're going to respond to the coaching of a coach like Una Paravainen, who has had a chance to play in the Olympic Games with Team Finland and made a very successful career for herself playing in her homeland, in her home country. So I can't wait to talk to her next season, as well as the rest of the female U18 prep Buffaloes. We're also going to focusing on the U17 Buffaloes group next year, as they'll be making their debut into the academy for 26-27. And yeah, wishing all teams, all coaches, everyone from around Pilot Mound a happy off season. We're going to end off this edition of the Buffaloes podcast coming up next, but first we're going to throw to a commercial from one of our most supportive sponsors in Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, The Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Well, for one final time, I'll say this. You've made it to the end of another edition of the Buffaloes podcast. And in terms of saying it for one final time for Season 3, that is. Excited to be back for Season 4. Pretty sure we've been confirmed at this point, and coming back, been fantastic in terms of this experience to be able to grow our brand along with Pilot Mound Hockey Academy. And like I said, it's just so awesome to see where, this academy is grown to and what they continue to add on with, the U17 program next year. the continuation of adding on dorms, which I think is a great thing to see, because that only means that, more kids are going to be able to go and experience what I think is a magical place down in Pilot Mountain, Manitoba. The hockey academy that continues to get more and more recognition as time goes along, and that's great. It's funny, heading into my first ever time covering Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy back in like 2021. I had never even heard or didn't even know that Pilot Mountain existed. Over 2.5 hours away from Winnipeg, Manitoba. It's been home to over 80 athletes throughout these past few seasons, and they're only going to add more to their family. And in 2026, 2027, we can't wait to bring you more of the great stories that make this academy what it is, from the guests, whether it's Gordy Tummelson, Nicole Collins, the players, the coaches, and whoever else may be joining us for season 4 of the Buffaloes podcast. We're going to be looking to do some different things next year in terms of adding more cool visuals into this podcast when we return, which will be in September. It'll be the start of another school year then for the kids down in Pilot Mound, and the 26-27 hockey season then will be right upon the horizon. But until then, everybody, we really do hope you enjoy the off season. To everyone down in Pilot Mound, the students, hope that they have a great end to the school year. I hope that the staff gets a much deserved and nice vacation coming up through the holidays. And yeah, wishing everyone the best in the upcoming off season. Of course, Pilot Mountain, the folks behind the scenes, they're going to be continuing to be busy in terms of recruiting, marketing, getting the dorms ready for the next season. And once we get to the next season, everybody will be back for season 4 of this great podcast, a podcast that I've enjoyed doing, quite a bit here on G Show Productions, your home for Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy coverage. Thank you to Gordy Tummelson, all the guests we've had along the way this season. Thank you to you, Buffaloes Nation, for tuning in and supporting us. You're the lifeblood of this show. Without viewers, we wouldn't be producing this, right? And of course, to our sponsors as well: Goaltenders, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Elite Prospects, Movement Fitness and Performance, and Terrico, along with Pilot Mountain sponsors and partners, for supporting us all season long. I haven't been able to find Tyson Unro's intro song these past few weeks. I think I might have lost it in my files. We're going to get that set for next year. You're going to hear that theme most likely at the start of next year's edition of the Buffaloes podcast. But also thank you to Tyson for his contributions and everyone that has helped us along the way here on the Buffaloes podcast. Until 26-27, everybody. I've been your host, Graham, the G Show Forsyth. We'll give you the salute here. Peace out and wave so long for one final time. Weather's getting really nice. I think I may go outside and enjoy this day a bit coming up. I hope you do too. And yeah, like I said, everybody, enjoy the off season. Buffaloes Nation, we'll see you back here next year in about September, everybody, for the premiere of season 4 of the Buffaloes podcast. Take care, everybody.